Drivers, what's the main part of that Uber Eats shop and deliver offer that comes up in those few seconds that you're going to know it's profitable or not? And also, there is a secondary consideration. And again, you only have limited time. But between those two things, you're going to be set up and be profitable. In this video, I'm going to share how to do these kind of orders because there are profitable ones out there. And then I'm going to walk you through an order that I did recently. And I think you're going to benefit from that, even with the good and the bad. And shockingly, there was a little glitch that happened where the customer got overcharged, but more on that in a little bit. So let's get into exactly how you can do this too. I'm going to bring up the screenshot. The first thing I noticed, which I did, was 1966, 9 items, 13 units, 28 minutes, 0.4 miles. The biggest thing that you know if this is profitable or not is look at the items, not the units. So 9. Let's just round it up. We'll do public math here. Almost $20 for 10 items. That's $2 an item. Right there, that is profitable. You want to at least get $1 per item. The units aren't a big deal. If there's 2 apples, you can do that pretty quickly. So that is the main secret. Divide that estimate of how much you're going to get paid by the items. And don't ever take anything under $1. And then here for the time, obviously, you can do the math. Almost $20 for 30 minutes. That's almost $40 an hour. That's an easy way to see. And I jumped on this as soon as I saw it. And then the secondary consideration is mileage. So this order is basically nothing, 0.4 miles. It would have been different. Let's say it's 1966 and they want me to go 10 miles. Wow, that adds quite a bit to it. And personally, I don't know that that would be worth it, unless you lower your standards because it's slow, but I really try not to do that. So I accepted that offer, and that's a good tip for you. I quickly went through just to get an idea of what I'm gonna be shopping for this gentleman, and just scrolling through some fruit, bottled water, chips, some tangerines, fruit, ice, Coke, and I already said bananas. So I already know, if you mentally prepare yourself, it's pretty easy. You know you're going to go in the store. Usually I try to get the dry goods first and then do the produce and then the meat and obviously frozen last. But in this case, I was so inspired walking in the store because the cut up watermelon was right there and it was easy to see. So right away, I went to go scan that and it wouldn't scan the barcode. So I got another package and it didn't scan that. Then this is where the time wasting comes in, and it is frustrating because time is money. And right off the bat, to have a problem like this is frustrating. So I looked at a different size, just confirming that I did have the right one. And I did. It still didn't scan, and I was annoyed, but I know, just move on. It'll give me time to think about how to deal with this. So I went ahead and looked at the bananas, because surely, how hard can that be? And so that was easy to find. I was able to scan that barcode right there on the label, and it was organic bananas. So all was well. Oh, and then also enter in the count, and if they want you to weigh it, then you'll put the weight in there too. So that's pretty simple. The key thing is being able to scan in that app. So I went back this time now, and actually, I diverted over to the oranges because how hard can that be? Look at those brilliant orange colors. And that is a pro tip for you, a little bonus. We can easily find something based on color. So what I recommend is if you know you need oranges, they're orange color. If you just look at all the produce, you're gonna see orange. Go right to it. And usually these little bags of tangerines are easy because there's only one kind. And excuse me, I'll have to admit, I failed here and I wasted quite a bit of time because, again, how hard can it be? I scanned one bag. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Anyway, they wanted organic and a certain size. I see 2 pounds there, but in the heat of the moment, I just started scanning bags because I want to get done. And that one didn't go through. But if you notice here on this screenshot of the oranges, they did change the app a couple years ago. Now you can scan it at any angle, so that's very helpful. So I continued wasting time trying 2-pound bags, 3-pound bags, Eventually, I found the right one, but if I had just been patient and taken my time and looked and read what it is, that would have been better. All right, so next I went and did the watermelon. By this time I had an idea, and I'll share the details, the specifics on that in another video, because you don't want to miss that. It's a way to bypass that app when it has problems. So anyway, I already had the right amount of the fruit, and I was able to go in there and enter it in, and then I was able to move on to the dry goods. So next I headed over to the water area, because in that store, you know how stores shuffle their things and move everything? So the layout was different than I remember. Went down, got the 2 cases of water, and I was able to scan that easily. And then I went over to the chips. Now here's another example of color. Just looking here, there's blue, orange, blue at the bottom. So knowing what I needed, first one was blue, the next one was purple. I could immediately look for that general area and then take the time to carefully read what I'm trying to buy. So I was able to scan that, and it went through. Next, the flavored Doritos or Frito-Lay. That scanned as well, and you'll see that little check appear when you do it properly. Actually, before we continue, please share in the comments right now, how many shop and deliver orders have you done? And please share if you're a newer driver or experienced. And I'm curious, what has been your experience so far? And please share in the comments, what's holding you back from doing these kind of orders? I'm very curious about that, because if you follow the tips in the video, taking a profitable one, it's easy. You're in and out. So thank you for doing that. And actually, maybe I didn't even mention the importance of that, of why you want to be profitable. Obviously, you know about money. But when you do low item count orders, you are in and out of the store. You're not filling up your cart, taking forever. Because in reality, the customer, and we'll get to this order, it tipped really well. But most customers don't tip that high. And if you have to fill up your whole basket, that's going to take you forever. And I don't wish that on you. So I like taking profitable orders that are low item count and then the high pay. So I already know I'm going to make money. So I'm in and out basically within 10 minutes. That's why you want to use that technique and find these kind of profitable orders. So if you want to learn that the hard way, go ahead. But trust me, just do low item count orders. So again, your comments, they're going to help everybody that reads this, and then everybody can get an idea, is this something I want to try? So thanks a lot for doing that. All right, so back to this order. I went down the cookies that they have here. It was a larger size, and I saw there were smaller sizes, but first, as part of customer service, I asked a young lady to go in the back, and she went to check if they had any. That took her time, so in the meantime, I went over and I did the Coke, and I'll get to that. But when she came back, she confirmed there wasn't any, and so I contacted the customer, and I don't recall if he answered or not, but basically they were 2 smaller packages, same price for the big one. And so I knew that wouldn't be an issue. So again, I mentioned I did the Coke while she was in the back. They wanted 4 cases of that. So again, Coke is red right there at the bottom. And I flipped one over to make it easy. Obviously, I could put it in the cart and scan it. But since I was already down there, I just flipped one over to scan. And again, you can scan at any angle. You'll see that check mark. Then it wanted 4, and then I put them in the cart. So again, with the cookies, that all worked out too, scanning that, and that went through. And in the app, it already accounted for knowing that I had bought 2 different items for a similar price. All right, last was the ice. And obviously, you know why we do this last. So I went up in the front of the store, they have the ice area, and I scanned one bag, but I did not put it in my cart. I wanted to be in the app and progress with the order so I could check out, with the full intention I would get the ice on the way out. That's why the store puts it there, so the customer gets it on the way out. And so then I went to check out. So you can see right there, you'll see that little flag with the green check mark. That means you're ready. And I think you can see why, because it's going to take time for this to come up and then me wait in line. and I want to have everything working in the app so that I can get out of there quickly. So then it always asks you, are you using your Plus card? Yes, always use your Plus card. I've had maybe, well, one time that it didn't work and I got deactivated for that, but again, that's another video for another time. Always use the Plus card. You may be compelled to think, hey, I want this money, and if there's an issue with the Plus card, that you're going to use your own credit card. You can do that, but I would highly recommend against that because you're setting yourself up for failure. If anything goes wrong with your documentation or anything, then pretty much UberEats is going to let you buy those groceries for the customer. So don't do that. Anyway, the checkout went smooth. As I was loading everything up there, obviously the heavy stuff I left in the cart, I put one of the water, one of the Coke, and then here's where this problem took place. So I told her there's 4 Coke, 2 water, 1 bag of ice. And so she rang everything up. I used the Plus card, and then I took a picture of the receipt. And you do have to stand kind of far back. You only get one picture, and you want to capture the whole receipt. So be mindful of that when you do it. And then after checking out, it said, you're all set, done with shopping, with the nice cartoon graphic. Yay, yay for us. All right, next, this is going to be where you drop off the order, and it goes just like a food delivery. So you'll see the customer's address, if it's meet at door or hand to me or leave it at the door. In this case, the gentleman put hand to me. And it was nice because when I got there, there were a couple other guys out there doing some work, and they came and helped me unload the car. And so that went pretty smoothly. I did see the customer inside the house and said hello. So he did see me and he thanked me. And not to get off topic, but one thing to help document your deliveries, that was a hand-me order. How was I going to have proof that I did that? So I use a body camera. A body-worn camera is key because if needed, I have footage. And of course, there's many safety reasons for this as well to protect myself. So I had documented proof, even though there was no picture of the drop-off. So I was pleasantly surprised after doing that. Now that gets into the pay. And look at this, $5.67. That's how much I got paid from UberEats for spending 35 or 33 minutes of my time. And obviously the tip comes later after an hour. So that took me 35 minutes. Interesting, isn't this? 1.19 miles. I thought the offer said 0.4. So I've heard of this from other drivers complaining that the drop-off distance is not what came in the offer. And clearly this happened to me as well. And thankfully it was just a small amount, but why would that even happen? So after the tip came through, the customer is nice. I think he tipped me maybe 48 cents more. So overall, that was a great offer. $20.14 for 35 minutes. Again, that's basically $40 an hour, and obviously really high pay for the miles. So this is the great example of a really profitable order. And I'm sure you can see already the customer provided most of that pay with the tip. Shame on UberEats, $5.67 for 35 minutes of work. Let's say the customer didn't tip. That is terrible. And UberEats, shame on them. They should already know every offer should be profitable, and the tip should just be for good service. But you and I know that's not the case. Guaranteed, if you're taking $2 and $3 orders and you can do, say, a bunch, how much is that? What, $6 an hour, maybe $8? That is nothing. You're going to go out of business. And yes, certain states you can earn extra because of a law, like here in California, but I know that doesn't apply for most of the United States. So all you can depend on is that pay that you see when the offer comes in. And this is why knowing the mileage is so important. I found that you definitely want to stay well away from $1 per mile. If you can set it for $2 per mile and more, that's great. But I've found throughout the day, invariably, it ends up trending down closer to $1. and that's not good. So you need to maintain high standards like I should be as well. Earlier, I mentioned that shocking surprise that I had, and it wasn't about the watermelon. It was actually about the ice. And how is it that Uber Eats overcharged the customer? That opens the door into fraud when we're using that card. That is concerning. But my main point was the customer. And so I contacted customer support. And wouldn't you like to know how to do this too? This was an order that was already closed out. I didn't even catch this till I happened to be looking at the receipt later that night. Incidentally, I scan using some apps to get some money for scanning receipts. So I have good news for you. I've made a video showing you how to contact customer support, and you can use that to your advantage should you ever need it. So watch that video next, and I'll see you there.